So the focus has got to be on Clemson's ability to run the ball or Cleveland's ability to slow him down. And the Doc man is here.
Well, just get here when you can, Doc.
Don't ask.
That's all right.
It's all good. Glad to be part of it.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to the show, Doc.
Thanks so much.
You know, we're just kind of recapping the games from last weekend, the fallout, if you will. You had, I think men's had 2 weeks to prepare for Cleveland, basically, since they didn't play last week.
Rested up, huh?
Rested up, and, you know, that might actually play into their hands a little bit, and we'll get to picking that game later. But, you know, just kind of recapping Walker Valley. I didn't see that coming. I thought that they would handle Coffee County.
I kind of thought they would too. Of course, one of the problems, Walker Valley kind of stood in their own headlights on that deal. They had their chances to score at times and didn't capitalize on them. And if you don't capitalize on scoring when you got a chance to score, you're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, I think then Coffee just scored like 3 points the week before or something like that. Wasn't that their score?
Coffee County is, has been questionable in its own right. Cleveland had a touchdown or interception in the end zone. That's never a good thing. So but they got up down the field on them. They just never put it in the end zone.
Kind of sounded like Tennessee last week.
Kind of resembled Tennessee a little bit there.
Yeah, talk about a disappointment. But and then again, like we were talking about a bit ago, Doc, Tennessee Prep got their first W, and they did it in impressive fashion. 27 points in about, let's see, what's a high school quarter? 12 minutes.
12 minutes.
So they did it in about 22 minutes of football, 20 minutes of football.
Something like that. I was trying to look here and see.
I just knew I was going to see that was an error.
Nope. They total yardage 224 yards or 226 yards for Tennessee Prep, and
in 20 minutes.
And Sale Creek had 24 yards. They had 2 first downs.
And shame on me. I didn't realize Sale Creek was a program that had been in existence in only 3 years.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And they just won their first game in their existence the week before.
Right.
No, Sale Creek did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I was seeing a little piece on the news there. No field. It's like cow pasture.
Yeah,
no stands.
We don't touch a whole lot on what's been going on in Hamilton County, but there's a big question and a big discussion going on about athletic facilities in Hamilton County. And at this particular time, Sale Creek does not have a home football field.
Yeah.
They don't even really have a practice field. The field they're using is not very good. 3 minutes and 6 seconds left in the second quarter, and the game was over.
Mm-hmm.
So,
wow.
The Hawks there have some weapons. I was reading, I went back and read some of the previous games.
Yeah.
They had one guy return an interception back 99 yards. It was in a losing effort, but they had 99 yards for a touchdown. Yeah. They got some players there.
They've got a number of players. They've got a couple of kids that had gone to Bradley and Cleveland over there. Initially, I think the count was 23 bodies on the football team. I think you updated it to
28 what I counted.
Now, something like that.
And only 10 of those are seniors, including the quarterback. And a few of them listed on the depth chart there or on the roster were actually 8th graders.
Yeah.
So, including I think the backup quarterback I think is an 8th grader. So they got a little ways to go yet to develop some of that talent. But I was looking a little further into it. Some of the coaches, Carlos Thompson that played at Cleveland.
Yeah, I remember that name. Flash in the past there.
And Deontay Lindsay.
Yeah.
Bradley.
Mm-hmm.
Running backs coach.
So they've got some things headed that way, Rashad Marshall for rushing for Tennessee Christian ran the ball 2 times for 117 yards.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good average. Luke Benton, who plays quarterback, he run the ball 3 times, 20 yards, and was 2, 3, and no interceptions for 50 yards on passing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's receiving. Mel Obadiah was 1 reception for 33 yards. Marshall 1 reception for 17 yards. And Luke Benton got on the receiving end of it with 1 pass for 7 yards.
Yeah,
So that's some pretty good stuff right there.
absolutely. And when you look at their losses, they're 1-3 right now. 2 of those losses were to state-ranked teams.
Yeah.
So it's not like they're going out and getting hammered by just anybody. So I'm looking forward to seeing. I'm thinking about going and watching them tomorrow night and everything.
Yeah, I'm not going to make the trip to Jeff County, huh?
No, I don't think so. I'm thinking about going up there and watching them. And in fact, we were talking about possibly doing a broadcast of it. If we had somebody, Doc, to run the board here.
There might could be something done there. First ever, huh?
Yeah. I figure, and this is just kind of thinking out loud, and I was talking to the station manager here, and if we had somebody to run the board here, we could throw it back to you to get the scores of the other games, and we could almost do our own red zone kind of thing here. So I don't know. It's something we might want to talk about during a break here in a few minutes. Didn't have time to talk to you on the way in, of course. You're running a little late, but something to if you ain't got something to do, me and Arnold were talking about going up there and doing it, and I don't know, something to think about. We've done a wrestling broadcast with Ron.
Yeah.
So next step be a football.
Might just be the ticket there.
And tomorrow night's their homecoming.
Yeah.
So if we don't get to do it, go out and watch them. You might be pleasantly surprised. With Cleveland being on the road, with Walker Valley being off, and with Bradley being on the road, perfect time to head that way. One more thing, the team I wanted to talk about a little bit. Polk County got their 4th loss of the year.
Yeah.
Last
40-20.
Yeah.
Big Men Central
getting their first win. So, we've got about 2 minutes to spare is all I think we might be able to get NASCAR here. So if you want to touch base, if you took any notes, we can. The chase is
set. All the usual suspects are in the chase, including Jeff Gordon, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Jimmy Johnson, Kyle Busch, Matt Kenseth. Matt Kenseth won the Richmond race the other night. It's going to be interesting because Jeff Gordon is finishing up his season. Can he make it to Homestead?
some magic.
So it's going to take some magic to do that.
Basically, the way it works out, I guess, if you win, you're guaranteed to move on. Anybody else, it's
Yeah. You've got Jimmy Johnson is seated first, Kyle Busch second, Matt Kenseth third, Joey Logano fourth, Kevin Harvick fifth, Dale Earnhardt Jr. sixth, Kurt Busch is seventh, Carl Edwards eighth, Brad Keselowski ninth, Barton Truex Jr. comes in at 10th, Denny Hamlin's 11th, Jimmy McMurray 12th, Jeff Gordon 13th, Ryan Newman 14th, Paul Menard 15th, and Clint Boyer. I'll get it right one of these days. Easy for everybody else to say. Comes in at 16th, and that's your chase contenders.
notable names that are left out of there.
Which ones?
No, that's what I'm.
Well,
Danica didn't make it.
Danica didn't make it. Kyle Larson was thought to maybe do it early. Casey Kane was kind of a surprise that he did make it in. Eric Amarella wound up at 17th. Run very well in the Richmond race, just couldn't quite get the point total he needed to get into the final 16. Nobody from Roush Racing got in, which was a surprise to me. Greg Biffle wound up 20th and hadn't won a race, so that's interesting. So it's going to be quite the deal here. They'll run 3 races and 4 will drop out. They'll run 3 more races, 4 more drop out, 3 more races, 4 more get knocked out. And when they go to Homestead, You'll have 4 teams with a chance to win, and whoever's the best finisher out of that 4 will be the champion.
What a formula.
I like the formula. I do.
So
Win or go home.
that's a quick and dirty NASCAR minute. Everything else doesn't matter anymore. Now it's all about the chase.
Yep. So, still think that I wish that somehow or another Daytona and Bristol had something to do with the chase.
I'd like to see some more rotation of races. I'd like to see road races rotated into the chase. Maybe not a single race every season,
But at least mix it up.
Yeah. You have Talladega in the chase, so that's kind of okay. That kind of takes the place of Daytona to a certain extent because it's actually the biggest track of all. So, to me, there's too many mile and a halves. That's the only issue I have. I'd like to have a little bit more variety in distances. Throw in some tracks that are kind of unusual size. Make them have to win on more different kinds of tracks.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Say bring them down to the speedway.
There you
Right.
go.
Put them on dirt.
Now that's been done in the trucks, and it's been a very exciting night when they do that.
A little straightaway there. Get up to some RPMs. And we hit the curve turn there.
Well, speaking of hitting a turn, let's turn into some football. High school picks for week 5 already. Wow.
Halfway through the season. Can you believe it?
No, I can't.
That quick.
Any major here at the halfway point, or after this game will be that legit, halfway. Any surprises? Are you kind of where we expected to be?
I guess probably the real surprise to me is that Walker Valley has not done as well as I would have thought they would have done at the start of the season.
Me too.
I want to say the Bears, just a few points from being undefeated. Me.
Yeah, really, literally 7 seconds away, possibly.
Yeah.
So
thought it was 9, but
well, 9,
2
7
seconds.
Yeah, exactly. Throw a number out there. First game, 3-1 Brentwood Academy traveling to Chattanooga to take on Baylor at 3-0. You look at Baylor. 2 weeks ago, they gave Ensworth their first home loss in 5 years.
Yep.
They gave Ray County their only loss. Brentwood, in 3 games, in 3 wins, they've outscored their opponents 167-13. Their only loss was to Trinity, Kentucky, 31-13.
I think I saw that score.
Yeah. Baylor averaging 41.25 points a ball game. I like Baylor in this one. Baylor lost last year. I think it was in the first round of the playoffs, or it might have been one of the last regular season games. But they lost this game last year up in Brentwood, 38-31. I like Baylor to come back home and take care of business.
I'm going to ride these Red Raiders for a while until they prove otherwise. Stopping that Ensworth streak at home there. Wow. Red Raiders.
Hell, Ron is going to go with Baylor. Dustin is going to jump over there and go with Brentwood Academy. So we're not going to have a bell ringer.
Not going to have a bell ringer.
No.
Oh.
And Arnold?
I'm going to go with Brentwood Academy.
Uh-oh.
You the man.
You're on Good Sports.
Hey, this is Ron Moore. How you folks doing?
Doing well, Ron. How's it going?
Doing great. I hate to call right in the middle of the picks there, and I just heard I picked Baylor again. So,
Well, so did I. So did Doc. So did.
and I just wanted to ask Arnold who's in the lead this year. I hadn't heard who's in the lead.
Ron, that's pretty much conceded to the great one, I think.
Oh well, okay. Who is that, Doc?
Hey, Doc went 12-0 twice last year, Ron.
Yeah.
You keep holding on to that.
You can't live in the past. You got to move forward. Well, the Doc can live in the past. Sorry. Let me see what I call real quick. A legendary figure of Cleveland, Tennessee, Bill Talley. They just completed a book about him called "How Tall Is a Giant." Bill was born basically with no arms from his elbow down and no legs from his knees down. and he coached high school football, baseball, went and coached some college football and baseball. So born here in Cleveland, and that's going to be the subject of Old Town Cleveland this Saturday. Is Bill Talley, the author of the book. George Starr will be there, and also Dwayne Morrow, who played 4 years for him at Cleveland High School, and Doyle Palmer, probably a good friend of his who coached over at Bradley, will probably go in and visit us also. I just wanted to pass on that if you grew up in Cleveland and was around sports, you probably see this unbelievable person who was just inspiration to everybody.
Yeah, I saw all that, and I was going, oh, boy, Ron's got a good show this week, because if anybody deserves the accolades, it's Bill Talley.
He is, and he will call us right after our 11 o'clock break. We will have Bill live on there. And on the 29th of September at 6:30 there at WOOF, I believe, at the Museum Center, I'm sorry, at 6:30, he will be in town, and he will be autographing his book.
But that'll be cool to see him around doing that.
So and he's got the best handwriting I've ever seen in my life. He's a lot better than mine, and nothing has ever stopped this man. He just no for an answer, and he's positive. He's a great guy, and like I say, we'll be talking about it this weekend. And I watched him coach Little League baseball, then coached at Cleveland, and then being a football coach. He was the coach of the freshman team of Cleveland, and his assistants were Jack Kidwell and Chuck Kondo.
Yeah.
So he was with some of the best.
Yeah, and anybody that's been around a long time remembers all the stories and watching him coach, and it's an amazing thing.
Like I say, and the book is called How Tall is a Giant, and it's not available yet anywhere, but on the 29th at the Museum Center at 6:30, Bill Talley himself will be in Cleveland only that one night. So make sure you go out and just meet him and get a book. I don't know what the cost of the book's going to be. It's $15, I understand, for the cost of the book.
Yeah, it's going to be a book worth reading. I guarantee you that.
So, like I say, I've had the opportunity to get a sneak preview of the book. It's very good, a good read, and you'll walk away happy. Yeah,
and George is the good person to be writing it, because he's been around and saw all the things that Bill Talley has accomplished.
So, for the listeners that don't know Bill Talley, you need to read the book anyway. And for the people who know Bill Talley, you'll want to read it just for the memories.
That is so true. So,
hey guys, I always get back to picking.
You going up to Jefferson County tomorrow?
I haven't decided yet. I was waiting to see what Arnold said. I might, I might let Arnold drive me. I don't know if he's going, or I might go see Ray County in Ooltewah, which is about 7 miles from my house.
I haven't really decided for sure myself. We've been discussing the possibility of going to watch Tennessee Christian play tomorrow night.
Well, that would be a good thing too. I said Ray and Ooltewah, because what are they? They're two top-ranked teams that are going to be meeting, and I think that'll be a barn burner down there.
It will, I believe.
But Tennessee Christian's good, and they're playing Lancaster, which is a very big prep school for both academics and sports. So Tennessee Christian will have their hands full.
Yeah, and it's also Tennessee Christian's homecoming game.
Good. Well, like I say, they've won their first ball game, and hopefully they'll get 2 or 3 here before the year's out.
Yep.
I'll let you know something there in the morning or tomorrow sometime, Ron.
Okay. Like I say, I'm going to go somewhere. I don't know yet.
I'm going somewhere too. Just figure out where.
Wherever they got the best hot dog is where I'll be.
Now that's what I normally figure. I figured you sat there and figured out which game you're going to see by the hot dog vending.
Right. Yeah. So, hey guys, we'll see. I'll let you get back to it.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
So, did we get all of them picked for the first one?
Yeah, that's good enough.
This one won't take very long. 4-0 Maryville at 3-0 Science Hill. Maryville won this ball game last year 45-0. They beat Alcoa in a battle of state-ranked rivals last week,
20-14.
Yeah. We've gone over the Maryville stats over and over again. 74-2 in the last, or 77-2 since 2010. They're just amazing. They're a machine. To me, they keep rolling. I really wasn't impressed with Science Hill. I know they beat Bradley, but I wasn't really impressed with them. I think that they'll get shellacked.
I'm thinking you're probably right on that.
Yeah, I don't see it being a close ball game.
Oh, the top 10. Where is Science Hill ranked in the top 10?
They're ranked fourth this week.
Fourth this week. And number one, I'm going to have to ride the state champions until they. Well, I don't know a scenario where I would be picking against them.
Well, they got to lose a few ball games and maybe 10 or 15 of their players get hurt before I might pick against them.
You might consider it then, huh?
Yeah. So we
you can ring the bell because pretty much everybody's got Maryville as the winner of this game.
All right, next up, Silverdale 2-1 versus Meigs County 1-2. Silverdale lost to Bledsoe 39-21. Meigs has lost to Oneida in Marion County. Marion County, yeah, you can kind of understand that loss a little bit. I like homestanding Meigs County in this ball game.
Oh, the Tigers. The Tigers there at home for the Doc here. The orange and whatever it is there, their predominant color, I think, is orange. Meigs County.
Orange and black.
Orange and black. There you go.
Yeah. Well, Ron's going to jump over there on Meigs County. I'm taking Meigs County. Dustin's taking Meigs County. Danny's taking Silverdale.
Oh, Seahawks, isn't it? Something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Skyhawk. It is a Seahawks. You're right.
It looks like Seattle.
Yep. So no bell ringer and
no bell ringer on that one. And Brian is taking Silverdale as well.
Well, good.
So,
in a battle of not so great teams here, just over the bend there, Moccasin Bend. You got Lookout Valley at 0-4 at Whitwell 1-3. Last year when these two teams played, Whitwell won at 61-14. Whitwell's only won one ball game this year, 43-6 win over Grundy County. So how bad's Grundy County? So far, Lookout Valley has been outscored 203-21 in their 4 ball games. They've given up. I mean, at least they're consistent. They've given up 45, 50, 55, and 53.
Hell, sounds like they need to get a new defensive coordinator, gentlemen. I don't.
Or a new defense. I like Whitwell in this ball game.
Yeah, the Whitwell, I think they're Tigers as well or something.
Yeah.
Sounds about right. Yeah, Doc, he's going to have to go with I'm going to have to go with Whitwell. Whitwell at home there for the Doc.
Go ahead and ring that bell because everybody's going with Whitwell this week.
No,
Whitwell.
Well, yeah, there it is.
All right. Moving up to Knoxville. William Blunt at 2-2, Bearden at 2-2. William Blunt's losses are to Alcoa and Dobbins Bennett. Looking at this game, I thought it was a close game. I think this probably be one of the closer ball games, kind of a pick-em type game. But I like Bearden at home just because they're at home. They won last year. They won 34-14. So kind of base my pick on that.
I go with the home team here tonight. The maroon-clad Bearden. I think they're the Bulldogs. Bearden Bulldogs. I think
so.
That sounds about right. Remember the off the beaten path here. Remember John Johnson, basketball player there. He shunned the Vols. Went on to play at, I believe, at Maryland. John Johnson.
I did not know that.
A top pick. We'll have to Google him sometime.
That's weird, wild stuff.
Get Arnold on his idle time here after a while. John Johnson, he was a top player in the shadows of UT. But anyway, Bearden at home for the Doc. He played there.
Bryson and Danny both are taking William Blunt. Ron's taking Bearden. Dustin's jumping over on William Blunt. The Govs.
No.
And I'm taking Bearden.
So
no bell ringer there.
Moving
all over the place.
All right. Next up, the Chargers and the Redskins. No, I'm not talking about San Diego versus Washington. I'm talking about McMinn Central traveling to Loudon. 1-3 McMinn Central, 2-2 Loudon. Last year when these two teams played, Brett Peck picked the score right. It was 35-7. Loudon. I think, if I'm not mistaken, that might have been Central's first loss last year.
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah. Last week, Central got their first win of the year over Polk. I like Loudon in this one. I like them at home.
Yeah, let's see what didn't play last week, right? Loudon was
No, it was Lenore City. It didn't play.
Lenore City didn't play. Okay, yeah, the Loudon Redskins there. I believe that's third. Have they been in any trouble for that? Redskins.
Well, if y'all decide not to go to a game, we can just go up there and protest.
There you go.
Alrighty then. Doc likes Loudon at home, their home team. No other reason than that.
Well, Bryson's taking Loudon. Brian's taking Loudon. Danny's taking McMinn Central.
Interesting.
Yeah. Ron's taking Loudon. Dustin's taking Loudon. And I'm taking Loudon.
Sound like somebody trying to make up some ground there.
Or lose some ground.
Yeah.
Next up, probably the game of the week in the area. Maybe in the whole
This is
eastern half of the
probably-
state.
I'd say definitely the eastern half state, because most people think that these two teams are going to go deep in the playoffs.
Last year when these two teams played, they didn't play until the second round of the playoffs, and Ray County won that ball game 35-21. In 2012, Ray County was 2-8. Since then, they've gone 26-4. Their only loss was to Baylor, 35-27, the first week of the season. You know, you look at Oldewall, their one loss was to Riverdale, 9-5 baseball score.
Yeah.
I think Ray County can score more points, and that's why I'm taking them, even on the road. I think they're going to win this ball game.
Well, Doc's going to have to ride the home team here. I know Oldewall's down a little bit, but just
Not that much. I mean, it's going to be a close game. This is going to be a barn burner, I believe.
yeah. That's the game of the multi-tri-state area here, probably. Yeah. Ray County, but I believe the Owls are going to soar over. Oh, it's the bird, the nest there. Yeah, the birds of a feather. Yeah,
The Eagles versus the Owls.
Doc's going with Oldewall at home.
Well, let's see. Ron is going to take the Eagles of Ray County. Dustin's taking the Eagles of Ray County. Brian is taking the Eagles of Ray County. And so is Danny.
But
Bryson and myself are going to jump over there and go with the Owls. They're going to hoot their night away.
it's going to be a good game.
This game was really tough to pick for me, because both teams are very good.
Both teams.
Ooltewah is probably one of the strongest defensive teams around.
But Ray County is a little bit better offensively.
Yeah.
So I think that it's one of those games. It's just
it's a really good matchup.
Yeah, it really is. Next up, not quite as good of a matchup. You got South Pittsburgh and Copper Basin. I really didn't look at this game that much. Basically, I'm going with South Pittsburgh on reputation. I just think they're a little bit better of a football team. Their one loss, I mean, their losses were a little bit less unimpressive to me as Copper Basin's, so I like South Pitt.
I like South Pitt there. I like South Pitt over Copper Basin for the Doc here.
Well, the interesting thing about this game is both teams are 1-3, which is unusual for South Pitt over recent years. South Pitt is averaging 19 points a game and giving up 31.
That's a big difference.
Yeah. Basin is scoring 17 points a game and giving up 30. This game could be a whole lot more interesting than most people would give it credit for initially. But you might as well ring the bell, because everybody went with South Pitt.
Could be interesting. You hyped it up there.
I like it.
Either we're all going to be extremely right or all extremely wrong on this one.
Well, South Pitt's one win of the year is the game game we're calling next. Bledsoe County 2-1. Their loss was to South Pitt against 0-4 Polk County at Polk County. I look at this game and Bledsoe lost to the South Pitt, but then they've beaten Silverdale and Whitwell.
Yeah.
I don't think they're very good, but you look at the trouble that Polk County's having. They're having a hard time scoring. They're having a hard time stopping anybody. I think they'll get a win this year, but I don't think it'll be this week. I think Bledsoe County wins it.
Yeah, Polk just down and out. My goodness, I hate it for the fans, the program. Even though they're a rival of Bradley County here, I like Bledsoe trying to win this thing, guys. Trying to make up some lost ground.
Bledsoe County's putting up 31 points a game, giving up 16. Polk County is scoring 8 points a game and giving up 38. I think that's the reason why. Let me double check, be sure.
Fingers on the pulse there. Fingers hovering above the stem there on the bell. It could be.
You can go ahead and ring that bell.
Everybody
Rip Snort.
Bledsoe. Now, game we talked about a little bit at the opening of the show. Lancaster Christian at 0-4, at Tennessee Christian 1-3. You look at this game, Lancaster Christian, they've taken it on the chin so far.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean 0-4. I look at the way Tennessee Christian has played. Their losses were to state-ranked foes. They seem to be getting better each week. They started out their season with a shutout. The next week they score 12 points against a state-ranked team. The next week, they continue to play better. I think they moved to 2-3 on the year, and get them a W on homecoming. First homecoming. I guess it'd probably be the first homecoming game.
First homecoming varsity game.
Yeah.
They may have done junior varsity homecomings.
Yep. But so I like Tennessee Christian. I like the Hawks to win this one.
Well, I didn't know all that. I just assumed Lancaster Christian was an established foe. Now, see, I can't be picking against them if we're going to do the game of the week up there. Am I allowed to change my pick?
Judge?
I've already changed one.
You changed that one before the
before the information.
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
As long as you haven't announced it, you can change it.
How can I go against to see? How can I go against? That one's called a cat distracted me right there. This one, yeah, I'm going to. As long as I hadn't announced it. If we're going to do game of the week here, I'm going to go for it. DH initially, make it official. Doc's going to go for the home team here. TN Christian.
Well, Brasson and Danny both went for Lancaster. Ryan went for Tennessee Christian. Ron went for Lancaster. Dustin went for Tennessee Christian. And I'm taking Tennessee Christian.
So no bell ringer, but hey, the panel more than half of us think Tennessee Christian. So don't let us down.
Yeah. I mean, they got good coaching and some good players up there. A couple of kids that left Bradley and Cleveland that are playing up there. So, hey, we got some kids there can play football.
In a situation like that, the team, are there any, trick plays, any juke offenses, going for 2-point conversion? I mean, can't you just go out there and have a little fun with it? I mean,
well, you can have a little fun with it, but you're going to go out and try to win ball games just like you was Bradley or
and you're building a program also. You're not,
not Harlem Globetrotter the thing,
right?
Who was it? College opened up last week, wasn't it? Was it Notre Dame?
No, it was Louisville. The very first game of the year, Louisville and somebody, and Louisville had two quarterbacks in there, ran one of them wide, snapped the ball, and he threw an interception. It was against Auburn. He threw an interception, and Auburn goes down, scores, and the route was on.
I'm for that sort of thing every now and then, even against my team, and I'm rooting for. But just some wrinkle in it, some spread offense. Heavy to one side, wide receiver. The thing where they line up 4 or 5 deep and split out. You don't know where they're at. Looks like somebody's ringing our bell there.
You're on Good Sports.
Sorry, Tommy, to interrupt you, Phil. I want to ask Tommy something here.
Go for it.
Cleveland, now, to me, it looks like, now, Cleveland's got 7 district games. They always had that many? Or usually, I thought usually they had about 4 or 5 district games.
It depends on the schedule and how many teams is in your district.
Well, they had lost 1 district game, and the next 6 are all district games straight.
Yeah.
I just thought that was a lot.
Well, Bradley's got 7. Their first 3 were non-district, and then
they're
in the region.
3 of the first 4 was non-district. Science Hill was district.
That's right. Yeah.
And then the next 6 ball games are going to be district games for Bradley.
Well, I just was thinking because I thought Cleveland usually just had about 4 or 5 district games.
Now, it entirely depends on how many people or teams the TSSAA puts in your district. You go back to the old District 5 CTAC days when Bradley and Cleveland was in the same district. There's actually only 2 teams or 2 games that were not district games at that time.
Well, you answered my question, Arnold, and I appreciate it, my man.
You're welcome.
Talk to you later.
Okay.
Just a vat of knowledge you are, Arnold.
Just been around too long.
Yeah. No such thing as being around too long. Next up, Bradley Central, 3-1, Jefferson County homecoming at 2-2. Most of us don't know a whole lot about Jefferson County, so I did do a little bit of research just to get myself familiar with them. They're the Patriots.
Yep.
They use the old New England Patriots logo.
Oh yeah,
on their helmets, and on midfield. They, which I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think so does Oakland.
Yeah, I think they do too.
Yeah, I know they used to.
Yeah.
The Oakland Patriots over in Murfreesboro, but the school was opened in 1975. It's in Dandridge, Tennessee. About 1,800 students. You said that Bradley and them played in 1979. Their only matchup.
They only match up in the Bear Bowl.
Against who was it now? Who?
That's Bradley and Jefferson County.
Bear Bowl. I'd
In the
forgot
Bear
about
Bowl.
that. I hadn't heard that in years. Bear Bowl. That's right.
Yeah.
So
One thing to go back in the late 70s, along about this time, Jefferson County did have some good football teams and actually played Ray County in the playoffs a time or two. Andy Kelly and their group.
Andy Kelly.
Yeah.
Well, moving to present day, they started out their season 2-0. Since then, they've lost 2 in a row to Maryville
And Morristown West.
and Morristown West. 2 foes that are not really a bad thing to lose to.
Number 1 in the state in 6A and number 5 in the state in 5A.
Interesting. When I look at this game, this was a tough one for me to pick. And this is a little bit of a heart pick and a little bit of hoping that Bradley can throw the ball on them. Just to be straightforward, I really wasn't happy with Bradley's execution last week.
Yeah.
I thought that,
And part of that, I think, they just come out in after the rain delay. The first 9 minutes, execution on Bradley's side looked terrific.
especially defensively.
Yeah. Coming out of the storm break until probably midway through the third quarter, Bradley just kind of lollygagged along. It's the best way I can describe it.
Well, maybe the football got waterlogged when the little brief shower came.
They left it
in.
out on the field.
'Cause I don't know if y'all ran for your life quick enough, but I was soaked like a wet rat.
Well, I happened to look at the radar before I left work, and I had our rain ponchos with us.
So were you sitting down there in the student section with them singing while everybody else was getting up?
Well, no, we actually made an exit out of the stadium like everybody else did. We wound up sitting in the truck with Ron and Dustin until the storm was over.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest with you, I was surprised at the size of the crowd that came back after the rainstorm.
Yeah, I was trying to get a picture of it. I was listening to it as I was driving away there. It sounded like, it sounded the Bradley side. It sounded like the more Bradley people showed reemerged than Cleveland folks. Is that fair to say?
I thought the Cleveland folks. I thought they for
I
the
thought
most part
Cleveland
they did
folks
as
pretty
well.
well come back too. I was really surprised at the crowd that came back after the storm delay.
And Bradley had a bigger crowd, but I was really impressed with the Cleveland student section. I thought they stayed in the game the whole time.
Oh yeah,
So my hat's off. One thing I have to say is I was really, really pleased to see that. And from where I was sitting, I couldn't hear a whole lot of Bradley's fans. I don't know. You always sit there right behind them, and
they were loud, but I mean, you had both sides. I think the only thing that I was kind of disappointed in a way, but I also understand it, was the Cleveland band left after the rain delay.
I didn't know that. I didn't even pay attention to that.
Yeah, Cleveland's band was gone, which there's in uniforms, instruments. You don't want to get those wet.
Right.
So I think they loaded up and loaded the buses. There was 4 buses behind the Cleveland cheering section before the rain delay, and they was gone after the rain delay, and the band no longer was in existence.
As I was walking into the stadium, the announcers, I believe it was whatever it was, whatever it is, they were saying there was a delay in the coin toss. You guys remember that? It was past 7:30, and there was a delay. They were saying that there's a rule that both teams have to physically be on the field before the coin is tossed. Well, that's not what happened. The Bears were on the field. The Cleveland Captains were out there, but the Cleveland team had not came onto the field. Now,
The Cleveland team was a little late getting onto the field.
Okay, well, maybe that's what the dealio was there. But in my
Their server was late bringing the check.
Yeah.
yeah, and I'd never thought about that or anything. I was trying to figure out what the delay was, and then but that's not in the end what happened, because the coin was tossed before the rest of the Raiders were on the field.
Yeah, as long as the captains are there, they can go ahead and toss the
That's
coin
what I
all
thought. I
day.
thought that's
That's the reason a lot of times you see the captains come onto the field early
Yeah.
before the rest of the team does.
Yeah, I'm all for that. Yeah, I don't know if the team is irrelevant. The team's there or not to me. Yeah, I don't think that was very accurate.
I like the Bears this week.
Well, I did actually reinitial this one. Cat distracted me or something there. Blame it on the cat. The Bears there. Just a few points from being undefeated, the homecoming game, and that right there. So I guess this was pirated off the.
That was pirated off the website of Jefferson County homecoming for that football team.
Hey, this is a rematch of the 1986 Super Bowl.
Yeah.
The Bears and the Patriots.
There you go.
Yeah.
It
So,
is.
Anyway,
It's kind of interesting here. Brian is going for Bradley. Danny is going for Jefferson County. And so is Bryson going for Jefferson County. Ron is going for Bradley Central. Dustin is going for Bradley Central. And when I looked at this game, I pulled some numbers. Jefferson County is 2-2 and averaging 24 points a ball game, but giving up 25. Bradley's 3-1 and going 32 points a game, giving up to 22. This is not a game that Bradley can take lightly. They're going to have to go up there and play. Jefferson County, by all accounts, has a big, strong defensive line. Bradley's offensive line is going to have their work cut out for them. They've got a big-time receiver up there who has been catching a lot of balls. I think 39 balls in the first 4 ball games with like 800 yards. So Bradley's got defense has some work to do too. But I'm going to take Bradley on this one because I just think Bradley is better than what most of East Tennessee thinks they are.
Mm-hmm. So there you go.
That's the way it is. All right.
That's the way the cookie crumbled. Last up, 1-3 Cleveland, 2-1 McMinn. I think Cleveland's about where we thought they would be. We talked about it at the beginning of the season. The defensive. You said, Arnold, defense would have to carry them.
Yeah.
Their one win, the defense did. They held East Hamilton to 15 points.
Yeah.
The defense got a 92-yard touchdown return.
Mm-hmm.
That's their win. In their losses, they gave up 39 points to Saudi Daisy. They've given up 34 to Bradley. And their other loss was to, I forgot to write it down, and just kind of going on memory here. Help me out. Who was that third loss?
Who's we talking
Saudi
about?
Daisy.
And then it was another loss at home.
Sevier County.
Sevier. That's right. The opener.
Sevier County.
And they scored over.
Oh, they scored a bunch.
Yeah. So one game that the defense holds. Now, one thing they've got going for them, if you stop the running back at McMinn,
Kempson, DJ Kempson.
then you stop McMinn.
Well, I'm not so sure you stop McMinn, but you really give yourself a good chance to win in that ball game because Kempson is their main weapon on offense. He is a tremendously good, strong, unselfish running back, good player. And I've said this all week. For Cleveland to win this ball game, they've got to shut down Kempson.
Unfortunately, I don't think it'll happen. I think McMinn County goes to 3-1. Cleveland goes to 1-4.
I like McMinn County at home up there over the Blue Raiders. Just the home factor. That's what's going to be the difference here in this game for Doc.
Cleveland won last year 23-21. Really close ball game. Cleveland is only scoring 16 points a game, and probably a third of that point total is coming off of defense.
Mm-hmm.
I know they've had at least 2 pick sixes this year for some of their point totals, but they're giving up 29 as an average. McMinn County's 2-1. They're scoring 28, but they're giving up 24. So they're not burning things up themselves. You're going to have to ring that bell because nobody's picking McMinn County to win this ball game.
I wouldn't have thought it though.
That's kind of a surprise to me too, because I would have thought somebody would have gone out there with Cleveland. Cleveland has the potential to win just about any game they're in right now, except maybe Ottawa, in my mind. But they've got to get their offense cleaned up. And I saw some better offensive play from Cleveland against Bradley than I've seen in the other ball games.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a work in progress. They've got to keep improving.
They went with a little more spread than I thought they would.
They did. But I think the biggest problem was the offensive line. Cleveland has always got the skilled players.
Mm-hmm.
You look at Jones, Elder, Hill, Davis. You've got 4 offensive threats right there that are good ball players. Speed, ability to play, it's all there. They've got to give them a little bit more blocking. They've got to get their timing down better. The pieces are there to be a very good football team. It's just a matter when it really starts coming together again.
Yep. Before we take a little commercial break, why don't you go over the stats with us? Leaderboard.
Week to date.
Oh, let's see. I have to go back and find that.
Season to date there.
Ron is number 1,
Ron is number
as he
1
said.
by a long way.
And he's running away with this one.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I've had an awful year.
Well, so about, it's 70%, 69%, something like that.
Yeah.
So we got Ron.
Let's see.
I'm trying to go 12-0, guys. Trying to go 12-0.
Oh, let's see. We got Ron at number 1 at 39-8.
39-8. How do you do that?
Good picking. And then I'm having to do this math in my head. We've got Danny is second at 35-12. That's big for Danny. He hadn't been up there.
No.
I'm surprised he's not in here dancing the jig.
Mm-hmm.
Then, let's see, get this up here where I can see it good.
Yeah, were we all right?
Tommy And Brian and Bryson are next up at 33 and 14.
33-14.
Then you've got Dustin at 32-15. I'm next at 31-17. It should be 31-16. And then we've got Travis and Doc at 30 and 17.
30 and 17.
Yeah.
But when you look at that, though, you take Ron's out of there, and there's only 3 games separating first and last place. I mean, second and last place.
Yeah, we're all pretty tight in there together, except for Ron. He's kind of stepped out there ahead of us. I tell you what, when you start averaging 10 correct picks a week, it adds up in a hurry.
Yeah. And we were hurt. We were all hurt last week with McMinn losing the game altogether. You know, that was one pick that I think most of us had McMinn. So.
Well, yeah, just a little bit.
So, anyway, well, there's your high school hour. If you'll give us about 30 seconds, 45 seconds, we're going to do a little station break, and then we will be back with you for the college, for the SEC hour. Talk a little Tennessee football amongst others.
You are listening to WOOP-LP, Cleveland, Tennessee. WOOP FM is a broadcasting service of the Traditional Music Resource Center, and we play America's original music.
Guns, guns, and more guns. That's right, folks. U.S. Money Shops has just received a large shipment of pre-owned Glock 22s, 23s, and the awesome Beretta 8040D Cougar. These guns are law enforcement trade-ins that start at just $379.99 while supplies last. At U.S. Money Shops, there's no shortage of guns, so if you're looking for a great deal on a newer pre-owned gun, then check us out first.
Buy or sell or pawn today, the better way at U.S. Money Shops.
Visit usmoneyshops.com for the location nearest you.
Check into cash.
Need help paying for life's little emergencies? Get the cash you need today from your friends at Check Into Cash.
Get a payday advance today for up to $425. At Check Into Cash, we make it quick, easy, and confidential.
Get the cash you need now at Check Into Cash. Visit checkintocash.com for the store near you.
Borrowers often use payday advances over a period of months, which can be expensive. Restrictions apply. See store for details.
Alrighty, we're back. Time for a little college football talk. For the last 45 minutes of the show, we ran over a little bit with the high school, but you know the local teams need to get a little bit more airtime. I think there's plenty of people talking about why Tennessee lost, and you know it's weekends like this past weekend that I really wish we didn't do this show on Thursday. I wish we did it on Monday. I wish we could be in here talking then, because you know you got everything that's on your mind then. And I tell you what, leaving Neyland Stadium Saturday was one of the worst losses, or after one of the worst losses I've ever been to. You know, and you're up 17-0 on a team that's a good team, but I don't think they are a great Oklahoma team. I don't think this is one of the best Oklahoma teams you've seen. And Tennessee just let them hang around. You go back to the first drive of the game. You know, Tennessee gets an interception and then drives the ball a half a yard from pay dirt, and you get a 3rd down and goal at the 1, and you call a running play. I like that call. My problem with it is Kamara
Wrong guy
is running the ball, the scat back, as opposed to that big 240-pound, 6'4" beast that you've got out there that never goes down on the first touch. When Jones was asked about it, he said that Hurd was winded. Number one, that was coming out of a timeout.
Yeah.
And that's the first drive of the ball game.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way he's winded. If he's winded, then he needs some a little bit more conditioning, because there's just no way.
Did Hurd tell him that, or was that the coach's opinion?
That's coach's opinion there, I guess.
I
didn't like it.
I'm going to tell you something else that I heard discussed on Sunday morning. There's a question about the spot of the ball.
on the
On the play before, they passed the ball to Wolf, I think it was.
Yeah.
And the opinion of the Sunday morning sound off crew, which I listen to every weekend, was basically that the ball was set back about a half yard behind where he went out of bounds, where he should have been.
But he was kind of upright. I didn't have. That's one of the few things that I didn't have a problem with.
Yeah. I'm just repeating what they said.
Right.
And they, in their opinion, if the ball had been spotted correctly, Kamara gets into the end zone.
Possibly. Still.
But I agree totally with you. On that play, the running back should have been hurt.
That's the first problem that I've got with it. The second thing is that Jones said that play was designed as a cutback. Why are you running a cutback play on the goal line?
No, you can't give the linebackers too much of an opportunity to come across.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That if you're going to get down to the half yard line or the yard line or half yard line, you take your big power man and come straight ahead.
And that's one of the things I hate about the spread, and I've said it before.
Yes.
I hate the spread because you've seen too many teams get cute at the goal line instead of playing old-fashioned smash mouth football. You got a quarterback lined up in an eye with a tailback and a fullback, and you just muscle it in.
Yeah.
That fullback comes in, slams into the line. Your tailback, if you won't hurt Kamara in there, he's jumping over the top for the touchdown.
Yeah.
Yep.
Then you get
the consensus that I heard just about everybody that talked about that play was the fact that, number one, the wrong man was on the field at the particular time to run the football into the end zone, and number two is you got to be able to power the football at that point in the game.
Yep. Yeah, I know. His defense. He wants to come down. Don't want to come away with no points. But here again,
which leads me into the 4th and goal, and you choose to kick it.
Yep.
And Jones's response after the game was, "I felt like we needed points. We needed momentum.
Get momentum.
When you've got the ball at the half yard line and you kick a field goal, that's sending a message. Number one to the other team's defense." They're breathing a sigh of relief. We just gave up 3 where we could have given up 7.
Yeah.
That's sending a message to your offensive line that I don't trust you to get 18 inches.
Yeah.
Yep. I didn't like the 3rd down call, and I didn't like the 4th down call.
And I know I sent as soon as they sent the kicking unit out. I don't know if I sent it to you, but I sent it to 2 other people. Wrong move. That's all my text message was, because to me, and I guarantee you with Fulmer, with Spurrier, with Saban, with Rick. Heck, Rick in Knoxville 2 years ago, 4th and 3 twice on the opening drive.
Yeah.
They go for it.
Yeah.
Because in a game like that, you can't play that game scared.
No.
I was sitting there thinking, watching the game. I saw the Atlanta Falcons sit on a 17-0 halftime lead, or I believe at least 1 point late second half, 17-0 lead. The game that would if they had won that game would have sent them to the Super Bowl. Different set of circumstances and how San Francisco came back. They wouldn't cover that guy, number 85, and y'all know who I'm talking about.
He's still running loose.
He's still running. You remember that game? It was just unbelievable. He wasn't just open. He was wide open.
Yeah.
He wasn't nobody within 15-yard radius of 20 yards. Anyway, I've seen that before, and I've wondered since that game, how does that happen? Replay here past Saturday. I'll tell you another play here that I like, even like second worst. The interception in overtime. You cannot call that play. You cannot ask your quarterback to throw that ball. It's got to go down and out, sideline pattern. Either your man catches it or the water boy catches it.
If you go back and watch that play, he had a man open underneath. Bottom line is, I have to say, I think he took the wrong choice on throwing that.
You're saying when he threw the guy he threw it to, he was not that open. There was somebody else.
Yes.
Okay, I didn't see it. I did not like.
No, if you go back and catch the replay of that, he had a man underneath there. It's pretty well wide open.
You've got to have your best play in that situation, best offensive play. You've got to have it, whether it be a trick play, whether it be a I don't know. I
Well,
didn't like the call.
The play call was okay because he had the man open. He just made the choice to go for the deeper man instead of the shorter man, and the deeper man was covered. The shorter man was open.
Couple other things before we get to the end of the game, because I definitely want to talk about the fourth quarter and overtime. But just throughout the game, we saw one slant, one seam route that we hit. Other than that, we don't throw the ball all across the middle. The offensive line didn't give him enough pressure to step back there and throw the ball deep. Even if it isn't, we don't go for the deep ball. We don't throw the deep ball. You got to throw a deep ball to keep defenses honest.
Yeah.
When you got 28 first down plays, and 20 of them are running plays, and with no creativity. Interesting thing here. You remember when Michigan lost to Appalachian State?
Yeah, 42 to something field goal. Yeah, I remember the game.
You know who the offensive coordinator was then for Michigan?
Give me a clue.
Mike DeBorg, same offensive coordinator that Tennessee's got right now.
Ruh-roh.
And I'm not saying that go out and fire the coach after 2 games. That's not what I'm saying at all. But I want to see a little bit, and that ended up getting that, and the season ended up a 6-5 or something like that for Lloyd Carr. But that season got Lloyd Carr fired or quote retired.
Yeah.
And I want to see a little bit more innovation than that on offense. And I'm not all putting that on DeBorg, because last year we saw a Tennessee-Florida game that had a checkerboard, had the loudest crowd up to that point, and all Tennessee was able to muster was 3 field goals, and they lose the ball game 10-9. Seeing a little bit too much tightening up in big games.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that can be fixed, but I think
I think that's the case that you have to look at more calls than offensive coordinator. I think you have to look at the whole package. You've got a head coach and an offensive coordinator that are doing a good job.
They're doing a good job of recruiting.
But getting it onto the field is problematical at this time, mainly because you still have a lot of youth issues and you have a lot of depth issues.
True.
Oh, and at the same time, you've got to. I don't think that we're totally confident in the quarterback at this particular time in certain situations.
That's when you've got to put him in positions that he can make the best plays.
Exactly.
I saw one play where he rolls out or got out of the pocket. He was pressured, got out of the pocket, and he pulled up at the line. Well, actually, it ended up he ended up throwing the ball a step past the line of scrimmage.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He had room to run.
Yeah.
He makes one guy miss, and he's gone. He walks for the first down.
Speaking of one guy miss, how many times did Tennessee have a hand on the opposing quarterback, and the guy was like a greased pig?
And in the one drive where Jumper got 2 holding calls, one of those plays, we had 5 different defensive linemen touch that quarterback before he threw the ball.
You know, it leads me to believe some of these quarterbacks, and if you think back, the guy, he was hit. He just didn't pay any attention to it. Too many times a quarterback is hit or getting close. They just cave into it. Oh, you got me. That guy, he get out of my way.
They missed tackles on him all night. I bet he broke. He broke 15 tackles
probably
in the second half.
Yeah.
I guarantee if you went back and watched the game.
Got to be a better tackling situation. They've got to run through the quarterback and make the tackle. Defensive
coaching wise, a great job from game 1 to game 2. I was very pleased.
The secondary played well, and that was probably the biggest thing from game 1 that was all worried about. They came back and played well. 2 interceptions. Good solid defense for the most part.
The defensive line was putting pressure on them.
Yeah.
They didn't have
losing Majette was huge.
It was huge, but still though, they didn't give up a ton of passing yards. They didn't give up a ton of rushing yards. They controlled the line of scrimmage on defense. They just couldn't get him down in the backfield.
Yeah. I mean, and they had him running a lot. I mean, it wasn't like he just standing back there all day with the ability to throw, just looking for somebody to throw the football.
The missed field goal, I told my lady, I says, that's the sort of thing right there, come back and haunt you.
48-yard field goal. I'll give him a little bit now. The closer one. Are you talking about you're talking about the closer one though?
I don't remember the second one. I just remember the first one. It was way off.
Yeah,
he
missed
10 yards off, wasn't it?
Every field goal that he's attempted on that side of the field this year
has been wide.
He's pushed it.
Yeah,
right.
But you go back to Tennessee has an opportunity to put the game away. They get the second interception by Todd Kelly. Gives them the ball at the 29. First play, they run shotgun, a handoff to Hurd. Hurd fumbles it. Tennessee somehow gets the ball back, but they get it back at the 41, knocks them out of the field goal range, and they can't do anything for the next 2 downs, and they end up having a punt. Speaking of punter, that's the MVP of the season so far is the new punter. I mean, he kept them backed up all game long. He averaged 50 yards a punt, and that's with 2 punts that were inside the, at the 10-yard or inside the 10 where he couldn't boom it out.
Yeah.
So, that to me, he's been magnificent, but you got to be a little bit more creative on offense.
I'm with you. Yeah, you just did not see that. Maybe not extreme trick plays, but something there. I mean, the misdirection.
They ran the jet sweep, faked it several times. They gave it to Pig once, and he ran for 8 yards. And later in the game, they did Pearson, and you're on Good Sports.
Hey, what about the drive where they tied it up at, where they had 2 holding calls on it?
Yeah, I'd mentioned the first holding call. When you give a secondary 6, 7, 8 seconds to have to cover somebody's going to get open.
That's right.
Or somebody's going to get held. It's just
that killed them.
Yeah, it did. And one of the holding penalties was, like I said, it was the play where Mayfield got pressured in the pocket, somebody missed. Right. He rolls to the right, somebody else missed. Somebody else missed.
You can't give him another set of downs and expect him to do anything.
Right. And I think on that same drive, if I'm not mistaken, that was the pass interference in the end zone also, where the guy's standing out of bounds, out of the back of the end zone, and 13 gets beat. I can't remember 13's name. Why is it? Mosley gets beat. He goes in the back of the end zone and just, knocks him down. But still, it was an uncatchable ball.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah. The ball hit the back of the wall, brick wall there, and they throw a flag. And, of course, it was a Big 12 officiating crew. And they really showed it. If you go back and look, and it's on YouTube, the game's on YouTube already. They go back, they tied up with 40 seconds to go.
Mm-hmm.
And this was another point I was going to get to. Thanks for calling in and bringing it up, so I didn't forget it.
Okay.
No, but on that, do you hang up? Yeah. No, he didn't. You're still there, aren't you?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway, so on that run back, Tennessee gets the ball at the 45-yard line. No, wait, there was a hold. I'm going to show you that hold in a few minutes and get your opinion on it. Did you see it when in live?
And the thing of it is, on the play that they called the interference on, there's also illegal motion by the offensive line.
Two
offensive
false start penalties. They don't call,
and they didn't call them.
All right, go back to let's see if I'm talking about you're talking about on the kick. The Oklahoma scores, ties game up. They kick off to the Vols
with 40 seconds left,
and we have a decent run back, and there's a hold or a fraction call. The ball's backed up to about the 30-ish.
About the 20, and so we take a knee.
It took a knee, and that's right there. Just forgotten about that. It was what 40-something seconds left at that point. Again, I don't know, 40 still in regulation.
It's 40 seconds or so left when they kicked the ball off. By the time the play was over, and they brought the offense out on the field. It was actually within 30 seconds of the end of the game.
You got to take a shot downfield.
They took a knee.
Got to take a shot downfield. Hook it.
No, honestly, I don't. I disagree. When it was inside the 15-yard line or inside the 20-yard line.
At that particular, if
it wasn't on the 30, I ain't
No.
Hollywood.
if he'd been at the 40, I'd say yes, you take the shot.
No, you take it. I don't care if you're on.
Because if you throw an interception there, then all they got to do is
far enough downfield where
your defense, your offensive line hasn't been able to protect him long enough to throw the ball downfield all game. But here's the kickoff. I want y'all to see this. And sorry, listeners, but that's just the way we got to do it. All right.
Did we get hosed?
I think so. I think so. All right. He fields the ball at the 4. Now they call the penalty on one of these two guys right here. They call a hold. Actually, I believe it was him. Yep, it's him. It's 51. That don't look like a hold to me. He pushed him down.
It didn't to me either. It didn't have anything bearing on the play.
And so that right there, Tennessee gets the ball. Instead of getting it at the whatever yard line he ended up with, that would have been at the 48-yard line. Then you absolutely do take 2 shots, throw the ball, and get it across the middle. But look, holding 51.
Yeah.
So that's the call that he made. That doesn't look like a hold to me.
No, I agree as well. Now, something's coming back to me again now. Wasn't there a controversy about Tennessee declining a holding call, and it gave them...
I didn't understand that either.
Yeah, I was sitting at a adult beverage location, and I was thinking...
Now, look, see? It's at the 18-yard line.
18.
Yep.
I thought it was a 30. I guess my name's not Doc Hollywood.
As it was... As it was, Tennessee blew a 17-point lead, and that is the biggest deficit ever for a road team to come back and win in Neyland Stadium.
Is our man not a big game coach? That's the bottom line. Come on.
I don't know, but I want to.
I think that you listen to some of the calls at this particular time. This did not sit well with a lot of the fan base. There's some grumbling going on out there,
which is stupid, though.
Yeah.
The guys,
of course, as one gentleman said today on the radio, if Tennessee goes down and loses to Florida, look out. But I'm not that way. I said, no matter what this season comes out to be, we've got to wait at least another season, give Jones at least one more year.
I don't even want to talk. I don't even want to talk like one season or whatever, because the guy's recruiting his tail off. The guy's promoting Tennessee like nobody's ever done.
Yeah.
So you've got to give him time. But what happens?
He does have to start winning some
of these games. What happens if Tennessee goes to Florida next week and loses? You're seeing a fan base go, here we go again. And those people that he keeps asking to come and make noise and make that place loud, and let's checkerboard Neyland. Let's wear smoky gray. Well, let's do third down for what? All these people are saying, you know what? That's a lot of smoke and no fire. Yeah. And you start seeing some people, go away from it.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a critical time for Tennessee football.
I'm not calling for his head by no means.
Absolutely not. And I don't.
I'm just repeating some things that I'm hearing and observing from some of the fan base. Now, I will say this, as Coach Johnny Majors used to say, there is a group of the fan base that he used to call the Legion of the Miserable.
Yes.
And they are the bluebirds, the ones that no matter what you do, it's wrong.
And one of those guys was sitting right in front of me. We're up 17-0, and we ran a couple of plays. And he turns around and he's half drunk or half owns something. I don't know what it was. But he's cussing and, what are we doing? And I'm like, look at the scoreboard, dude. We're winning. Quit being negative till you got a reason to be.
Yeah. He's going for the juggler.
Yeah. But anyway.
Yeah. I always love that comment, Legion of the Miserable.
Yeah. Old Johnny.
Yeah. And it's not just Tennessee. All your major football teams have those. I'll guarantee you that you've got some of them down in Alabama that are fussing because they've not won a national championship every single year.
Yeah.
That would be the Legion of the Miserable. If you don't win every ball game and every championship, there's something wrong.
So, before we put this Tennessee game to bed, Bob Stoops, congratulations. You have now become into my top 5 least favorite coaches in college football. I'm sure he's happy to know that, but
I'm sure he's worried about it.
My new top 5 of hated coaches, and it's just for the program that he runs, the way he runs his mouth. He's classless. He's a bum. He's got players that are running across the field, flipping people off after the game, and their discipline's going to be handled internally. Last week, he wanted to make his comments about Neyland Stadium. Hey, guess what? Neyland Stadium did do something last week. They had how many procedure penalties?
Yeah.
I mean, it was an incredible crowd. It was one for the ages.
Yeah.
But it still wasn't. I don't care what they say about decibel levels. 98 Florida was louder.
Oh, well, I'm glad to hear that because I was losing sleep over it. I thought I was at something special there in 98.
You were. And they say that this was the loudest on record, but I guarantee you Florida in 98 was louder.
That was about as loud as I can remember.
Two specific things I can remember as being that loud: when Tennessee stopped Florida at the goal line when they fumbled, and Al Wilson came up with a fumble.
Yeah.
That, and then whenever the Florida kicker missed the kick
at the end of the game.
That was the loudest I've ever heard, and probably the loudest that you'll ever hear. I mean, it was, if there was a roof, it would have blown off of Neyland Stadium that night. But nevertheless,
I would compare it with one other game, but I don't know.
Yeah. I hate to say that, blame it on refs, because the refs didn't give up a 17-point lead.
No,
the refs didn't make.
The calls were questionable, but
it shouldn't come down to it. But at the same time, you feel like when you're at home, if there's a questionable call like that, it shouldn't be made. That hold that I showed you, the pass interference,
pass interference thing,
and the fact that they missed. I mean, how does a line judge that's sole job is to watch the offensive line, how does he miss 2 false starts?
He balled off.
He's a Big 12 official. But anyway,
hold it just 1 second before we move over that. Is that a home and home series?
Yeah, last year was.
Okay, so yeah, that's right, opening game out there.
Yeah,
so is that it?
That's it with Oklahoma, which I hate to say it, but oh yeah, my top 5 least favorite coaches. Number 1 for the 52 times 7 weeks in a row would be Urban Meyer. That's my number 1. I hate him. Number 2 is James Franklin. I think he's a weasel, and I just don't like him. My number 3, Number 3 will. Can you guess who that would be?
Hal Mummy.
No, not Hal Mummy.
Where's he at? At a Waffle House now?
Yeah, I think
washing dishes.
Absolutely.
Probably, I'd hazard Steve Spurrier as a guest there.
No, Spurrier's not even in my top. In fact, he's one of my favorites. I like him.
Let's see.
I got to find my list here because me and a buddy.
Petrino.
He's in there.
Oh no! What'd Bobby ever do to you?
He didn't do anything to me. He didn't do anything to me, but not a big fan.
I already has a motorcycle. Likes to take it for long rides.
Yeah.
All right, I'm almost there. There.
He's got a list, and he's keeping it twice.
Yeah, all righty then. I don't know. I don't know that I've got top 5 coaches. I guess just teams overall I dislike. Once upon a time I was a big Kentucky basketball fan. Now I'm not for them. I was young and dumb. Now I'm just dumb. When Dallas and Pittsburgh was playing all those years for championships, and Dallas come up short several times, I was a Dallas fan. I was never for Pittsburgh in that run.
Here we go. Muschamp is number 3.
Oh, yeah.
Don't like him. Stoops is now number 4. And number 5 is kind of a surprise to you probably, but Jimbo Fisher. He runs a dirty program down there at Florida State, and he lets his players do whatever they want to. They're down there stealing crab legs, assaulting women, and
that guy, never. Can't understand.
Noticeable on that list was not Mark Richt, because I like Mark Richt. I think he's a classy guy.
Mark Richt is a good guy.
Long as-
I don't have a problem with Kiffin. I've put that problem to bed. I think that he was. I mean, for one thing, if you're offered job,
I don't have a problem with the fact that he was offered the job or that he took the job. So much is just the way he left.
2-minute and 12-second press conference, and he was out the door.
most coaches don't give a press conference leaving, though. I mean, at least he did have the decency to say, "Hey, I'm gone. See y'all."
Yeah, but I think he could have handled it a little bit better with the Tennessee faithful. The other part that kind of irked me was he turned around and tried to recruit the players that he had recruited to Tennessee to follow him to South Carolina in a few instances.
Yeah.
That probably bothered me worse than and it wasn't necessarily just him, it was another coach as well.
Remember, he scored the #1 running back recruit, or maybe an #1 overall player in the U.S. that year. His name would be
Bryce Brown.
Yeah.
#1 in your heart and whatever on.
No, he may be #1, but ain't the #1 you're thinking about.
I think I heard Bryce Brown was released by whoever he's playing for.
He was with the Eagles,
4th string back or something there.
But that's probably the biggest problem I have with him. Is not necessarily that he took the job at Southern Cal, because hey, if that's his dream job and the opportunity comes along, I can't blame the man for that.
No.
Yeah,
But it just boom, he was gone, and then he rubbed salt in the wound by trying to take a certain number of players with him rather than saying, hey, you guys have a good career at Tennessee.
Wasn't it fact that he never had a residence? It was a hotel downtown within walking distance of the stadium was his humble abode and his stint there in Knoxville, Tennessee.
I think he bought a house there.
Yeah.
Maybe wrong on that then. Maybe my info is not accurate. Mr. Kiffin.
So anyway, couple more things from last week, and then we'll move on to this week's games. Auburn, the fight of their life against Jacksonville State. What a ball game!
I saw that and I go, what is going on?
Yeah, well,
because Auburn is a good football team this year.
I saw Jack State play the week before.
Yeah,
UT Chattanooga.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you hate to be what the game came down there close at the end? Jackson State was forced to punt late in the game. The guy shanked a punt, 17 yards. I think I can get 17 yards.
You might be able to. I'm gonna
kick the win.
I'm gonna kick it low and make it roll if I have to.
I did not see any replay of it, but I just saw the little ticker tape thing cross it. I thought, oh my God, was it blocked? Was it?
No, he just
shanked it. Just a straight shank.
How do you do? Oh my
Kicked
goodness.
it off the side of his foot.
How do you do that? I don't know, gentlemen. I just don't know there. Auburn had their hands full there, and it hurt them in the polls bad, didn't it? Drop double digits or something there.
So and the thing of it is, you got to look at that from the standpoint of UTC. That loss may be a loss, but all of a sudden, wait a minute, we lost to Jacksonville State, who nearly beat Auburn.
Yeah,
so that's.
And then you got old Brady boy over in Arkansas, Brett Bielema, who was talking about Ohio State's cupcake schedule, and then he goes out and loses to Toledo.
Oh heavens!
Yeah. Not good.
Not good at all.
You gotta if you're gonna talk about somebody else's dirty house, you better make sure yours is clean.
Toledo.
People that live in
Rockets.
glass houses.
Yeah, don't throw rocks. Gonna live in glass house. Yeah. Wow. Toledo, that escaped my radar. I didn't know that had taken place.
Yep. And you had Florida narrowly escaping East Carolina. 31-24 was that game.
Yeah. And there's times when East Carolina looked like they was on their way to an upset there. The other game that kind of surprised, I think, a lot of people, Kentucky over South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Tell you what, Kentucky, under the radar, they've improved a ton.
They've recruited a lot of good players, They've got good coaching going on up there, and it points to the fact that South Carolina is not the South Carolina that was winning 11 games a season right now.
Was that game at Kentucky?
No, it was at South Carolina.
Heavens.
Yeah.
Oh, whoa. I bet the
Yeah.
old Odyssey 2001 VIP didn't do an encore.
No.
The band was retired.
Yeah, that was that was surprising. I mean, I'm not all that high on South Carolina right now, but for Kentucky to go in there and beat them,
And the final score again was
26-22, but it was 20. I did it again.
it's about this time every week when you just start writing it down.
That's right.
7:47 p.m.
It was South Carolina was down 26-7.
yeah,
And then they came back.
They had to make a comeback.
How do you get down? Well, how do you get beat when you're leading 7?
Yeah, the same way Tommy has chair problems.
I think it's getting lowered. They were getting lowered. He's going to be on the floor here in a minute. Those of you looking on World Wide Web at WOPFM.com.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh my.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Superior.
superior.
It's gonna hurt.
That's about it as far as really, shocking upsets. Moving on to this week, some big time SEC game. Well, do want to mention LSU beating Mississippi State.
Yeah.
Those are the two SEC games that were, SEC teams playing against each other in conference games, if you will. So this week we're going to move on. Number 17, A&M, who I think's probably been the most impressive team so far in the SEC. They're playing out of conference one more game. They're playing against Nevada, playing at home, 12 o'clock. Missouri's got Connecticut. You got looking for more SEC. 3:30. I was just going to say 3:30, a matchup of two top 15 teams, not SEC rated or related, but Georgia Tech playing at Notre Dame. That'll be a good one.
And then you got also at 3:30 Auburn and LSU.
Huge ball game, Battle of the Tigers.
Auburn and LSU, yeah.
I tell you what, there are some good games this weekend.
Then at 6 o'clock you got South Carolina and Georgia.
And I think Georgia's 19-point favorites in that one.
At Georgia.
At
obviously.
Georgia. I tell you what, South Carolina has played well there. I like Georgia to win this ball game, but I don't like that line being that high.
19 points, a lot of points. That's 3 scores or so plus. Yeah, right in that neighborhood.
Also at 3:30, and this isn't an SEC game either, but a matchup of two traditional powers, Nebraska at Miami. Good ball game. I mean, as far as, like I said, as far as it being traditional.
Yeah, sure. Back in the 80s, they had some.
Yeah.
They had some
They had some great matchups.
Yeah.
Vanderbilt plays Austin Peay, so Vanderbilt may get a win there.
I may get a win. Not a lot. Austin Peay governors too, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Also at 4, Northwestern State's playing at Mississippi State, coming off that loss. 7 o'clock, Tennessee hosting Western Carolina. Another one of those feel-good, come back and win. I mean, come back after a loss games. Got to get some stuff corrected. They got to. Mainly the passing game. There's too many weapons back there for them to be able to not be able to,
Yeah. I mean, on that, I guess if we had any kind of what would be the over and under on that?
I wouldn't even want to touch that game because you just don't know what Tennessee team's coming out. The next game up, 7:30, to me is one of the more intriguing SEC games of the week. Florida at Kentucky. Kentucky's coming off of those 2 wins.
And we don't know what Florida's defense is still going to be good, but are they going to be
But they gave up 24 points against. They gave up 24 against East Carolina.
Yeah.
And you're looking at a Kentucky team that scored 26 last week. They can't stop anybody. But then the week before that, they scored 40. They were won 40-33 against Louisiana Lafayette. So they can score, but they can't stop anybody. Florida's got good defense, but they can't really score a whole lot. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
they have against the weaker opponents here. So interesting ball game. So anyway, that might Texas, California.
That'd be fun.
If there wasn't all the other games
Yeah.
there. And then at 9:15, hopefully I'll get home in time to at least see the end of this one. Number 15, Ole Miss at Alabama.
That could be a good ball game.
Ole Miss.
It has potential.
I know they've played against some weak opponents so far, but they've won their first two ball games 76-3
No.
and 73-21. I can understand beating UT Martin 76-3, but beating Fresno 73-21, that's impressive.
Yeah.
It was 28-0 at the end of the first quarter.
Speaking of high score, and the back dip just a split second in the high school, didn't I hear a news report, was it last week, that some high school team scored 105 points and their opponent was something like 95 or 90?
90, I think,
And
yeah.
one guy, running back, or for one person for the one team had 10 touchdowns.
And 700 and something yards. So he ran for almost a half a mile.
Was this an in cahoots thing? Hey, we won't play defense if you won't.
I don't see how it couldn't be.
I don't either. I mean,
I just don't understand how you can score 200 points in a ball game and anybody trying to play defense.
yeah, me either. It's like they were going for the Guinness Book of World Records or something. I think there needs to be. I think there needs to be call for a grassroots investigation into that thing.
Doc's going to investigate it.
Get the Pink Panther out. Pink Panther hat.
The Whoop investigative team will travel
Our
to.
crack research staff.
Yeah, will travel to Texas to.
Was that where it was at? Somewhere,
think-
somewhere in Texas.
Have to be for that many points to be scored. It'd have to be a Texas offense.
Andale Viva defense. Matador. Come on by.
So let's start from the bottom and work our way up. Ole Miss, Alabama.
Doc. Alabama.
Alabama can't go against them yet.
I like Ole Miss in this one. I think that they're the real deal. I think they outscore Alabama. I don't know about
It's
Alabama's
possible.
offense. I know their defense is good, but I mean, you're talking about a team that's putting up 74 points a ball game.
74 points ball game.
Yeah, Ole Miss first
Ole
two
Miss.
ball games, 76 and 73. That's 74 and a half.
Been playing Matadors. No, I don't buy it. It stopped this week.
Hotty toddy, go Ole Miss.
70s nights are over.
Oh yeah, they won't score 70, but I think they'll win it.
Ah,
I think Ole Miss upsets them.
and it's a game is again at
Alabama,
Bama.
Florida, and Kentucky
At
at Commonwealth Stadium in Lexington.
I'm going to take Kentucky.
I believe I am too. Just for the pure, I don't know that I've ever picked Kentucky in my adult life in football till tonight.
Part of me thinks that, but then I look at Florida and Kentucky, and Florida hasn't been. I can't remember the last time Kentucky lost to Florida. And
You mean last time Florida lost to
yeah, that's what I meant. That's what I meant.
The streak is going to be over.
I hope you're right.
Ah.
I'm kind of on the fence about that one. I just think that that's one of those pick'em games.
Yeah, it is really, but I just like the idea of Kentucky.
So they're not going to be honoring Hal Mummy at the halftime.
No Hal Mummy honor it. Western Carolina at Tennessee.
Tennessee.
Texas Tech and Arkansas. That's an interesting game. Arkansas coming off that loss. Texas Tech has been known to put up points.
I'll take Arkansas.
I think Arkansas gets it done. I think they better.
Hogs.
Hogs.
Razorback Hogs, yeah.
6 o'clock. South Carolina at Georgia. Now I do think Georgia will win this ball game.
Yeah.
But how much?
I think comfortably.
I agree. I like Rick.
Yeah, I think 10 to 14 point win.
Yeah. Maybe even more than that. See there, Red? We're actually picking Georgia in a game.
Red must be already headed out.
Nope, she's listening. I know she's listening. She'll call here in a second. Vanderbilt and Austin P. Does anybody care?
Austin P.
Darn, I wish the rules still allowed for a tie.
Let's go P.
Austin P. Right there at.
I'm going to say Vanderbilt wins that ball game.
How many miles separate the campuses? Not many. 30.
No, I was thinking Austin P was up.
Are they in Nashville?
No, they're in Nashville.
Okay.
Austin P's campus is actually downtown. So I don't think it's not more than 5.
That closer than what I thought. Okay.
It's in Clarksville.
Austin P.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it
Well,
was.
maybe they I think
So they're 30 miles
Yeah.
basically.
I was thinking they had a campus. Maybe I'm thinking about somebody else.
No, they may have like a little satellite campus or something like that because just about everybody does.
Maybe I'm thinking about somebody else, though, because I know that
Tennessee State.
Yeah, Tennessee State maybe.
Tennessee
what I'm
State,
thinking
yeah.
about,
Long
because they have a
time,
campus right there across from the Capitol.
Yep.
Literally in the shadows.
Yep. Northwestern State, Mississippi State. Mississippi State. Big.
Mississippi State.
Mississippi State, Doc.
The Tigers versus the Tigers, LSU and Auburn at LSU, Baton Rouge, 3:30. Auburn coming off of a game where they were probably looking ahead to this LSU game. I like LSU at home.
Miles. The only question is, did they play that? Remember that Exxon commercial got a tiger by the tail?
Is it a night game?
No, it's a 3:30.
3:30 game.
If it was a night game, I would definitely.
Just to make it just to make it interesting, I'm going to take Auburn.
Oh heck! So the adult beverages hadn't kicked in by 3:30 on the crowd.
No.
Huh?
Oh, those people start drinking the night before. What are you talking about?
Yeah, the learning curve there. What does Doc like here? I don't know. I like Les Miles.
You like the Tigers?
I like Tigers. Tigers will win this game.
Guaranteed. Missouri and Connecticut. Missouri, big.
Missouri.
Yeah. Ring the bell.
A&M, Nevada.
A&M.
Well, they won't be honoring Jerry Tarkanian at halftime, but I guess he's gone on to glory land.
Yep. Well, this isn't Nevada, Las Vegas. This is Nevada Wolfpack.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, they certainly won't be honoring him.
Yep. Their first win was against. Who did they beat? They won 31-7. 31-17, and then they lost to Arizona, but they beat UC Davis.
Who's that?
Somewhere out of California.
University of California. They know.
Don't know them. Never heard of them. But
they were on the schedule.
They were on the schedule, so they played them.
Yeah.
And that's about it for the SEC. And tonight you've got, Friday night you've got Florida State and Boston College. Tonight you got Clemson, Louisville. So some good football games. And also from an NFL standpoint, you got Peyton Manning playing tonight. And
really?
Playing.
Let's hope he can throw a touchdown pass tonight.
Yeah, I know. The Chiefs, playing against the Chiefs.
Yeah, what is this Gary Kubiak offense? I'm hearing where Peyton, I haven't seen any films or anything, any highlights. Under center?
Yeah, under center more.
What's the advantage?
I think they're trying to take a lot of the pressure off of him and try to go for more of a running game. At this stage of his career, it's probably not, run the ball and play defense and save his arm for the season.
You can hand the ball off in the shotgun position.
We just talked about that. I don't, that spread offense has ruined power running game.
I got to add, what is it, the Statue of Liberty, where you cock it down, you look around like you don't have the ball, and you flick it to them.
Yeah. So
might work once.
Might work once, yeah. So anyway, so tomorrow night there's a potential that we might be doing football game tomorrow night from Charleston Field, from Panther Field there in Charleston, Tennessee Christian Preparatory.
Yeah.
So listen tomorrow, and we'll try to have it announced if we do get it done. I'm going to check on it, and I'll get with you guys between here and then. And if we can get it done, we'll do it. Does that sound good to you?
Sounds like a deal. The deal's done.
So if y'all are interested in listening to a local high school game that's not on the radio, this is your chance. If not, then get out there and watch them, or do both. Go out there and watch them play, and bring some headphones and listen to us.
There you go.
Any way you want to go about it, enjoy some Friday night football.
Absolutely. And this is a good week to do that. Since Bradley, Cleveland, and Walker Valley are all playing either away or off, you've got Ray County, Ooltewah. You've got this one. And if you want to if you're a Cleveland fan, make that drive up to Athens and watch that.
That's not a bad drive, Brad.
And it's a good place to watch a game too.
Yeah. Bradley's drive is about a 2-hour drive for those that might be interested in going to watching Bradley in Jefferson County. It's 115 miles. Hit I-75, then hit I-40 through Knoxville, and it take the Highway 92 exit off of I-40, turn left, and go north, and it's a few miles up State Highway 92 there between Jefferson City and Dandridge, Tennessee.
If you're interested in going to the Cleveland McMinn game, hit I-75, go up to exit 42, get off the exit there, hit Highway 11, go up about 5 miles, and it's right there on the right. You can't miss it.
Yeah,
you got it.
It's actually one of my favorite stadiums.
It's a nice little stadium down there.
Remember the old? I think I've been there once. I remember the old stadium there.
Over out downtown?
High school downtown.
Yeah. I remember seeing a couple of games there.
Watch Shazan Bradley.
It was dark over there. If I remember right, it was dark over there, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was dark. It was a dark field.
Yeah, it seemed like it always was. Even
Yeah. But I think one of the last games I saw at that stadium had Shazan Bradley and Mark Taylor as running backs.
I may have been at that game. I can't remember.
And that's now a college soccer facility, maybe,
I think
or some kind of soccer facility.
Yeah.
Quickly, as we can go away right quick. Do you guys remember when TWC revived their football program for a few years back in the 80s?
No.
Oh yeah. And the first handoff was I can tell you when it was 83, because the first handoff went to Buck. He played at Cleveland High School. I can't call his last name right now. And he almost ran it in for a touchdown and dropped the ball on the way. It'll come to me here in a minute. One of those Cleveland names that are synonymous over there, Buck. Anyway, Cleveland had just came off a state championship final and lost 7-0 against Brentwood Academy. It may have been a year after that, but TWC revived it, and they played down there. As far as it may have been either at McMinn County or it may have been on campus. I'm not real sure, but they did revive it. Doug Seifels, you'll know that name, was head coach of that thing, and I'm not making this up. I think it lasted 2 or 3 years. They revived that thing for a short time. Just a little bit of Doc's old back in the day trivia here.
And that Doc Hollywood trivia was brought to you by
Doc Hollywood.
Bill Talley book signing.
There you go, yeah.
Monday, September 28th. 6 to 8 p.m. at the museum at 5 Points. Cleveland High's Bill Talley relived the Blue Raiders' 32-game winning streak and 68 championship with the man that helped make it happen.
And listen Saturday morning and hear a fantastic story about the man.
Okay. Well, Daniel said that he's game if we are.
Okay.
All right. We'll see what happens here, guys.
Right,
I'll look for your cue.
All right. Well, we'll try to make this happen, and be back with you next week. Talk more SEC, more high school, and if we fit a minute in there, we'll fit a NASCAR minute in. If not, then
we'll figure it out somewhere or another.
If you want NASCAR, the people to listen to
Tuesday nights, Whoop on Wheels.
That's right. Those guys know it, and I don't want to pretend to take any of their thunder, because those guys, they know what they're doing. They know they do a good job. And so tune in and listen for your NASCAR news then. We'll handle the football. So thank you, everybody, for listening, and we'll see you next week.
You are listening to WOOP-LP, Cleveland, Tennessee. Whoop FM is a broadcasting service of the Traditional Music Resource Center, and we play America's original music.
Check check into checking to cash.
Need help paying for life's little emergencies? Get the cash you need today from your friends at Check into Cash.
Get a payday advance today for up to $425. At Check into Cash, we make it quick, easy, and confidential.
Get the cash you need now at Check into Cash. Visit checkintocash.com for the store near you.
Borrowers often use payday advances over a period of months, which can be expensive. Restrictions apply. See store for details.
Guns, guns, and more guns. That's right, folks. U.S. Money Shops has just received a large shipment of pre-owned Glock 22s, 23s, and the awesome Beretta 8040D Cougar. These guns are law enforcement trade-ins that start at just $379.99 while supplies last. At U.S. Money Shops, there's no shortage of guns, so if you're looking for a great deal on a newer pre-owned gun, then check us out first.
Buy yourself a gun today, the better way at U.S. Money Shops.
Visit usmoneyshops.com for the location nearest you.
Hardwick Clothes, America's oldest tailor-made clothing company, has been making our best-selling navy blazers for 134 years. Visit Hardwick.com to get the $295 wrinkle-resistant travel blazer at the price of $195. Order by 3 and get by 10. Free next day air. Hardwick.com, America's oldest, and sewn in Cleveland, Tennessee since 1880.
Tired of standing in line to cash your paycheck? Go to usmoneycard.com. Company doesn't provide direct deposit? Visit usmoneycard.com. The smart and safe alternative to carrying cash. We'll provide direct deposit for your prepaid debit card, or you can deposit cash anytime. Your US Money Card is reloadable and can be used wherever MasterCard is accepted. You never have to worry about overdraft fees. Spend what you deposit. So log on, load up, and love your US Money Card, the safe and smart way to spend. Visit usmoneycard.com for complete details.
There are 4, I count them 4, key elements to any good song. It doesn't matter if it's a Stanley Brothers song, a Johnny Cash song, or a Black Sabbath song. 4 key elements that they're all about: drinking, cheating, killing, and hell. That's what everybody's singing about. And they asked me, what about love now? What about love? I always love songs. And I said, well, I've got cheating in there. And love is just the fundamental underlying cause of all the drinking, cheating, killing, and hell that goes on.
Kansas ain't no place to have a baby when you got no man to give it his last name. And the folks back in Manhattan didn't want me or my bundle, so I took my child and called an evening train. And I found a job in Denver, washing dishes in a diner. At least it buys the baby milk to drink. He once told me I was pretty, but the only ring that got me is the ring of grease that runs around the seam. Yes, I laid beside